In this lesson, we're going to discuss the concept of a gap analysis. Now, a gap analysis is a process of evaluating the differences between an organization's current performance and its desired performance. The goal of the analysis is to identify areas where improvements can be made in order to bridge the gap between the current and desired states. Conducting a gap analysis can be a really valuable tool for organizations that are looking to improve their operations, processes, performance, or overall cybersecurity posture. Now, there are several steps involved in conducting a gap analysis. The first step is to define the scope of the analysis. This includes identifying the specific areas of the organization that will be evaluated and the desired outcome of that analysis. The next step is to gather data on the current state of the organization. This can be done through surveys, interviews, or other forms of data collection. Once that data has been gathered, it should be analyzed to identify any areas where the organization's current performance falls short of its desired performance. Once those gaps have been identified, our next step is to develop a plan to bridge those gaps. This can include changes to processes, systems, or other areas of the organization that can help to improve the performance or security of your systems and networks. The plan should also include specific goals and objectives, as well as a timeline for achieving them. For example, if a company wanted to migrate their data storage from their on-premise solution to a cloud-based solution, they should consider how this might affect their security. To ensure a smooth and secure transition, your company might perform a comprehensive gap analysis. This might begin by evaluating your on-premise security measures, which includes your firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and data access controls. After documenting this current state, you can then compare it to the desired security standards for their chosen cloud provider, which might be AWS or Azure. Then, the gap analysis can be used to highlight that their existing data encryption methods are outdated, and they're not in line with the cloud's more advanced encryption at rest protocols. Additionally, their on-premise access controls might not be able to be mapped directly to the cloud's identity and access management or IAM models, so this is a gap that also needs to be addressed. Now that the company knows their current state, their desired state, and the difference between the two, they are now better equipped to plan their migration while ensuring they've adopted enhanced encryption techniques and made the necessary modifications to their IAM policies to create an overall more secure and seamless migration into the cloud. Now, in general, you're going to find that there are two basic types of a gap analysis. We have a technical gap analysis and a business gap analysis. A technical gap analysis in the world of cloud computing would involve evaluating an organization's current technical infrastructure and identifying any areas where it falls short of the technical capabilities required to fully utilize their security solutions. For example, an organization might find that its current network infrastructure is simply not fast enough to support data in transit encryption, or a full zero-trust architecture, or that its current security protocols are not robust enough to protect the data being stored at rest inside of their cloud-based storage solution. Once those gaps have been identified, now the organization can develop a plan to address these issues and upgrade its technical infrastructure as needed. Now, on the other hand, we have a business gap analysis that involves evaluating the organization's current business processes and identifying any areas where they fall short of the capabilities required to fully utilize their new cloud-based solutions. For example, an organization may find that its current data management processes are not efficient enough to support cloud-based data storage and sharing, or that its current budgeting and forecasting processes are not accurate enough to support cloud-based financial management. Once the gaps have been identified, then the organization can develop a plan to move its business processes forward as needed to close that gap. Now, let's take a look at a real-world example. At one of my former organizations that I worked at, we conducted a vulnerability assessment once per week across the entire network. This vulnerability assessment was designed to uncover weak points in our digital infrastructure and systems. The assessment often found several software vulnerabilities in our different servers, some insufficient encryption for data in transit, and a few times we found outdated database configurations too. Each week, my team and I were responsible for looking over all the findings from the assessment and then determining which ones were the highest priority for us to fix, because we never have enough time, money, or resources to fix all of them in any given week. By understanding the seriousness of each finding, we could then create a plan of action and milestones known as a POA&M, and that would outline the specific measures to address each vulnerability and allocate resources and set up timelines for each of the remediation tasks that we needed to perform. This allowed us to prioritize the patching of critical software vulnerabilities and updating those database misconfigurations first. At the same time, we now know what the level of security is that we're trying to achieve, and our POA&M was an actionable way to get us from our current state to our desired state, and this helped us continually close the gap identified by our ongoing gap analysis in terms of our vulnerability management programs. So remember, a gap analysis really is a powerful tool that can help your organization to improve its security and its performance by identifying areas where improvements can be made. Whether you're looking to migrate into the cloud or you simply want to improve the security of your systems and networks, a gap analysis can help to achieve the desired outcomes and results for you. By following the steps of a gap analysis, you can ensure that you have a comprehensive plan in place to bridge the gap between your current and your desired states.